Hello, grade 4. How are you? Today we're going to start a new lesson. This is chapter 9, lesson 1. The name of our lesson today is Land and Climate of the West. Okay. Today we're going to speak about the West region of America. You know that in America there are five main regions, and today we're going to speak about the West region of America. Okay. I'm sorry, first we're going to start by the land and the water of the West. To easily understand this part, okay, he introduced that the West is consisting of 13 states, okay, and to easily recognize the 13 states and all what's written here, let's check the map directly check the map to easily understand what's written in the first section. Here is the West, and this is the map of the West. This is west of America, okay? As you can see, this is west of America. So here is in north, we could find Canada, and in south, we could find Mexico. So this is West America, in north Canada, in south Mexico. Also, in the west side, we could find here the Pacific Ocean. In the west side, we could find all of this water is the water of the Pacific Ocean. And here is on the east, this is the Midwest and the South. Okay, this is the Midwest part, and this is the South. Okay, what about the states of the West? Here we could find 13 states of the West. Here is R12, and here is 1, and this is another one. So here is 11, and this is the 12th, and this is the 13th. Okay, let's see. The 11 states of the West are divided into three kinds of states. The southwest states, this is the southwest. Okay, so if it's north, south, east, and west, so this is the south according to the compass. This is the direction of the south, so this is the southwest states. Okay, what's in purple here? This is called mountain states. Why they are called mountain states? Because we could find here the Rocky Mountains range. Okay, so look at the Rocky Mountains. Okay, this is the Rocky Mountains. That's why these purple states are called the mountain states because of the Rocky Mountains. Okay, the green states here are called the Pacific states because they are located along the Pacific Ocean. So this is the mountains states, this is the Pacific states, and here is the southwest states. Southwest states. Okay, let's check first the mountain states. The mountain states are here we could find one, two, three, four states. Montana, okay, Wyoming state, and Colorado state, and here is Idaho. Okay, and here is the green states here are, or the Pacific states are Washington, and here is Oregon, and here is California. Okay, three states here. And about the southwest states, we could find Nevada and Utah and Arizona and New Mexico. Okay, so these are the 11 states. State number 12 is Alaska. This is located here. Okay, if we check, this is Canada, and here is in the Pacific Ocean and in border with the Arctic Ocean, we could find Alaska. Okay, and here is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, we could find Hawaii. Okay, Hawaii state. Okay, so these are the 13 states of the West. Also, we could find something else. You could find these lines. These lines are rivers. For example, this is Missouri River, and this is another river. This is a third river. This is a fourth river. Okay, this is a fifth river here. Okay, we could find also what we could find here. Look here in Utah here, we could find the Great Salt Lake. Look, this lake is called the Great Salt Lake. From all the physical features here, I'm sorry, let's erase it. I'm sorry. Okay. So from the physical features here, we could find that the West has many rivers. Mountain range has a lake located along ocean. So there are many physical features here: ocean, rivers, lakes, mountains. Okay. So if we check again the first section again, let's read it together. We could find that the West is a huge region of 13 states, and we introduced what are the 13 states. Okay, this 13 states, 11 states lies east of the Pacific Ocean between Canada and Mexico. I introduced to you what are the 11 states that located in the West, okay, which are the Pacific states or the ocean states and also the mountain states and the southwest states. These are 11 states. And also we can add to them Alaska and Hawaii. Okay. We could find also the mountains about the physical features, mountains, rivers, lake. We could find the Pacific states also, or the Pacific Ocean. Also, we could find that the West has mountains, has valleys, has desert, has the tropical forest, has many kinds of physical features, has also frozen glaciers, has volcanoes. Okay, it has both or different temperatures. It has warmest temperature and coldest temperature in some areas also. It has many natural resources. Okay. This is general idea about the West. Let's move after introducing the map of the West to introduce the mountains in the West. Four mountain systems run through the north and south in the West. What are the famous mountain range in the West? The Rocky Mountains. And I want to highlight it for you. Just 1 minute. So here is the Rocky Mountains. So when I ask you, yeah, let's do it with the, yes, okay. The Rocky Mountains, the Rocky Mountains. These are the mountains in the west. The Rocky Mountains, guys, are formed because of the movement of the tectonic plates. And we took it before, guys. When tectonic plates or the movement of the small rocks are moving together, sometimes they lead to the forming of some mountain ranges. Okay, so the Rocky Mountains are formed by the movement of tectonic plates. What else? We have another mountain range which is called Cascades. Cascades Mountain Range. Okay, Cascade Mountain Range. These kinds of mountains are formed because of the volcanoes. You know, when volcanoes happen, so much melted rocks or lava bubbled, and when these bubbles or when these melted rocks or when this lava hardened, okay, they formed the Cascades Range. So when I ask you what the difference between the Rocky Mountains and Cascades Mountains in the West, the Rocky Mountains are formed because of tectonic plates, but Cascades Mountains range are formed because of the volcanoes. Because of what? Because of the volcanoes. Because the lava and the melted rocks are hardened, and then the mountains are formed. Okay, sometimes, guys, the volcanoes release some kind of energy called geothermal energy. Okay, what the meaning of geothermal? Geothermal refers to the word heat. So geothermal means what? Means heat. Okay. What else? The West also has many kinds of landforms. It has valleys. Okay. It has basins. Okay. It has plateaus. Okay. It has the most famous valley, of course, is Yosemite Valley. Yosemite Valley is the most famous valley in the West. Okay, it has also a canyon. Okay, and the most famous canyon here is the Grand Canyon in Arizona. Okay, in the state of Arizona. This is the famous canyon in the West. Okay, so again, guys, when I speak or when we answer this question, what are the three major landforms in the West? There are many landforms. Number one, it has mountains like Rocky Mountains and Cascades Mountains. The Rocky Mountains are formed because tectonic plates, but Cascades Mountains formed because of volcanoes. Okay, what other landforms? It has valleys, it has basins, it has plateaus, it has canyons, and about the most famous valley and canyon, the Yosemite Valley, and also the Grand Canyon. Okay, in Arizona. The landscape between the Rocky Mountains and the Western Ranges is rugged. If we speak about, guys, the states of the mountains states. In these mountains states, guys, we could find that the land is rugged, okay, but also it's beautiful in the same time. And these kinds of states has many ranching and mining business. Okay, many tourists, of course, these mining and ranching states, okay, to ski, to hike. Okay, this is what I want from this passage. Okay, from this passage, when I ask you about the landforms, the mountains, the valleys, the plateaus, the canyons, and the most famous mountains, the most famous valley, the most famous canyon in the West. Okay, this is for page 247. Let's move to the second section, but before we move, I have to erase that. Okay, let's move to the next page. The next page here is speaking about the water, climate, and wildlife. Okay, here is, you know that the West has many rivers, and the rivers work as a source of irrigation. What the meaning of irrigation? Irrigation means supplying land with water. Okay, when I give water to the land, it's called irrigation system. So irrigation system, it means using the water of rivers in farming. Okay, again, irrigation means what? Irrigation means using the water of rivers in farming, or we can say supplying land with water for farming. Okay, so the rivers in the west is source of irrigation system, and the rivers also we could use the water of the rivers by building dams to produce a kind of power. It's called hydroelectric power. It means electricity, by the way. Okay, and about the lakes, it has the Great Salt Lake. So from all this passage, what I want is that rivers are used as irrigation system, and also it helps us to produce hydroelectric power. And also, guys, the most famous lake in the west is the Great it's here, it's the Great Salt Lake. Okay, and the Great Salt Lake, guys, because some of the lake water evaporates, so the water becomes more salty than the ocean water, for example. So the minerals make the lake water much saltier than the ocean water. So don't forget that. Sometimes because the water of the lake evaporates, so the minerals that stays in the lake make the lake water more saltier or much saltier than the ocean water. Okay, what about the Pacific Ocean? The Pacific Ocean, of course, affects the climate because the air in this area is called moist air. It means that the air full of water. Okay, that's why we have too much moisture in these kinds of states. And also, if we speak about the states that are indoors or that are inside, okay, so it carries arid air or dry air. So again, returning back to the map, here is all of these states along the Pacific Ocean carry moist air because of the Pacific Ocean. But if we speak about these states or the mountain states, no, it carries arid air. Arid air means dry air. Okay, so arid air is different than moist air. moist air in the Pacific states, but arid air in the mountain states. Also, there are some factors that affect the climate. We took it before in the first term. What are these factors? The latitude, the ocean, and the elevation. Of course, the latitude, because if we are near to the equator, we have hot climate, but if we are far away from the equator, we have cold climate. Okay, what about the ocean? The ocean all the time, the states that located along the ocean have temperate climate. Temperate climate, it means not very cold, not very hot. And here is the elevation. Elevation means the states that located or have mountains, for example. As we go up, guys, the temperature is started to be less than the normal level of the land. Okay, so the elevation here means, I mean by elevation means the mountains. Okay. No, the mountains states of course have cold climate. Okay. This is for this passage or this section of our lesson. The last section of our lesson speaks about the animals and the plants of the West. Here, guys, I want you to know only the names of the animals. So, and plants also. So, here is plant life, of course, varies with the climate. For example, in Hawaii, we have orchids and other tropical plants. So, here is, guys, we have just 1 minute. This is the first kind of plants, orchids. Okay. The second kind of plants, we have cactus, for example. We have mesquites. We have, for example, the mesquites, by the way, guys, its root is very deep, so they can reach underground water. Okay. We have redwood trees also. This is the plants of the West. Okay. And it's grown in the coastal areas. We have also another kind of trees, which is called Bristol cone pine trees. Okay. So the most famous plants that grow in the West, orchids, cactus, mesquites, giant redwood trees, and Bristol cone pine trees. Okay, one, two, three, four, five, five kinds of plants. What about animals? The animals, the most famous animals that grew in the West, here is we have the Alaskan brown bear, okay, the moose, okay. We have also a condor, okay. It's kind of birds. And we have elk. We have bighorn sheep. We have cougars, okay. This is cougars. This is kind of cougars. It's something like cats, okay. We have lizards. We have scorpions. We have tarantulas. We have snakes. Okay, these are the animals that grow in the West. Okay, what I want from here, just the names of plants and animals that live in the West. That's it, guys. Okay, and about this question, what factors influence the temperature in the West? Of course, the latitude, the Pacific Ocean, and the elevation. Because latitude, if we are near to if we are near to the equator, we have hot climate. If we are far away from the equator, we have cold climate. For the Pacific Ocean, the states that along the Pacific Ocean has temperate climate, it means normal, not very cold, not very hot. And about the elevation, because we go high, okay, we of course have a temperature less than the temperature on the ground level. Okay, guys, this is our lesson for today. Watch to the video again. And if you need anything, contact me anytime. Thank you and goodbye.